Hello everyone, this is Marianne and welcome to my channel. Now this is going to be a video that I have never done before. I have been seeing so many people on YouTube coming up with their monthly favorites, and the items tend to change from month to month and they have a lot of things to go through, but I have never really had that much, and I don't really experiment with buying stuff. I tend to stick to the same things for many years, and I tend to stock up on them and hoard them because I use them and I need them. So that's what we are going to talk about in this video. These are the things that I've been using for many years, but there are a couple of items in this list that I have only started using recently, but I know myself, I know that I am going to be using them for many years to come, so I have also included them in this video. Let's start with this item right here. It's from the brand Paper One, and it's an A4 size, and it's called the Premium Digital Inkjet and Laser Paper. It's 100 GSM, and I really like it. I've used it for many years, and this brand has the enhanced Pro Digi nanotechnology. What it really says is that the colors that you print are going to be more vibrant, and the blacks are going to be blacker, and the lines are going to be crisp, and there is going to be no smearing because the ink dries fast. So the benefits of this paper are discussed on the back of the pack, and this is one ream that I have right here. As you can see, I have already printed my 4x4mm grid on there. I use it for my thesis notebooks, which is my second item in this video. This is the notebook right here. This is the notebook that I am using for my thesis research, and I have talked about this at length of how I am exactly using this in a different video, and I will link it down below. And I also have a video about how I created these A4 gridded notebooks, which are single-sided. There are no grid lines on the back, and I didn't plan to write anything on the back. My original plan was really to just cut these pages down and then manually paste them onto my manuscript for my thesis. But I like the concept so much that I made a second volume, and I placed the volume in a very light small font at the bottom of the cover page, and I also made the pages double-sided because I have gotten a lot of use from the first volume, and I no longer plan to manually cut down the pages. In fact, I plan to continue using this notebook for annotating even the books that I read that are not for my thesis. Even if I'm already done with graduate school, I am going to continue annotating the books that I read for leisure in this manner, because I find that I get more from books if I annotate them. And of course, while I was at it, I made a third volume just to make sure that I have enough. But if I need a fourth and a fifth volume and so on and so forth, I will just continue to use the Paper One 100 GSM A4 sheets. These are very good with fountain pens, by the way. They are not perfect, but they do not bleed through. Item number 3 in my perpetual favorites for stationery is this Midori MD-A5 notebook in the blank configuration. I use this as my journal. I have a review of this notebook in my YouTube channel, and I would link it down below. And I also have another video about how I am using this particular notebook. I use it for my journal, like I said, and I really like it. I purchased these from Scribe Writing Essentials, but I purchased 2 from Scribe Writing Essentials, but the third one is actually from Everything Calligraphy. They are priced more or less the same. And because the pages are blank, I have a template for it, and this is how it looks like when the pages have been written on. And it looks like I have very large margins, but I explained it in a video that I will link down below. The next item, of course, is something that will cover that Midori MDA5 notebook, and it's a bunch of Hobonichi covers. I have only started using the Hobonichi covers like in the beginning of September or something, but I know that I am going to be using them for many years because I know that I am going to stick with the Midori MDA5 notebook for many years for my journaling. My current favorite is actually the Carnation cover with the beginnings cover on cover. In my unboxing of the Hobonichi covers that I purchased from the Hobonichi 2018 store, I explained why I purchased the Carnation cover. It's because it reminded me of a very old Winnie the Pooh book that I have read when I was a little girl. The color combination looked like that. And the beginnings cover on cover reminded me of summer afternoons in the farm where I grew up, where we would look up into the sky every afternoon and see swarms of birds just flying past us. The last paper item in this video is this particular set of blank inserts from Reime Da Vinci from Japan. It's the DR338L. That just means it's blank and it's personal sized and it's pre-hole punched, and it's made in Japan by Reime. And again, just showing you the label of the DR338L, and each pack of this has 100 sheets, and this is made of Tomoe River paper. And I have videos in my YouTube channel about why I use Tomoe River paper for my planner pages, and I will place a link down below. These inserts I always purchase from Kawaii Tokyo on Etsy, and I usually just purchase them every 3 months, every 4 months, just to make sure that I have enough of a supply to last me a quarter of a year. But the latest purchase that I have made, I purchased 6 packs. So that means I have 600 sheets, and that should be good to last me about 6 to 8 months or something. I use 2 pages per day in my planning system, and I have weekly tip-ins for the task sheets and weekly tip-ins for the weekly summary sheets as well. I have a review of the Kawaii Tokyo Etsy store on my YouTube channel, and I will also link it down below. I love these inserts. They are the inserts that I know I am going to use forever and ever, so I really hope that Reime Da Vinci does not stop making these, or they don't stop selling these, because they are such a breeze to use. The next item in this video is this fountain pen. It's the Pelican M400 white tortoise fountain pen, and it has an extra fine nib made out of 14 karat gold. I purchased this sometime in 2012 or 2011, I'm not sure, but I know that as early as I think 2007 or 2008, I have been lusting over this pen because I think it looks really beautiful. I think it's very feminine as well. The barrel has those striations made of an iridescent greenish brownish material. It's tortoise, and it looks very beautiful, and it looks different under different kinds of light. The cap of the pen is white, and the end of the pen that you twist in order to manipulate the piston is also white. And the section is also white, and it has a gold trim. This is the nib. Like I said, it's an extra fine nib made out of 14 karat gold. But because it is a European pen, it therefore writes a little bit broader than the Japanese fountain pens. The pen is the perfect size for my very small hand, and this is how I grip it. And it is the perfect size and weight for my hand, and my handwriting is quite small, so it's very comfortable to write with. Here is a sample writing of it. As you can see, although the nib says it's extra fine, it doesn't really look like. And the handwriting samples beside it, that's in a sort of turquoise color, is actually the fine nib of the Pilot Metropolitan. As you can see, the extra fine writes even wider than the Pilot Fine. So now let's try to write with it, because I would still like to show you. It's a little bit awkward with this particular camera angle, but I am sure you are going to get the idea. It is a very, very wet writer. As you can see, it lays down really wet lines. And sometimes I actually like to watch the ink dry on the paper. At first it glistens because it's wet, and then eventually the ink dries on the page. The next item in this video about my favorites is actually these Pilot Metropolitan fountain pens, and I use 4 of these in my planning system: the black, the green, the orange, and the turquoise. And I have a video about these in my YouTube channel, and I will link it down below. And these other 4 I use for other purposes, like for annotating books in that gridded A4 notebook that I make, and also to journal in the Midori MD-A5 journal. And all of these pens have fine nibs. Every single one of them, they all have fine nibs, because I think that because I have very small handwriting, the fine nibs are the perfect size nibs for my handwriting. And another reason why I really, really like these pens is that they are made of metal, and so they are quite heavy. They're much heavier than the Pelican M400 white tortoise that I showed you. But the benefit of having a heavier pen is that I just let them write with their own weight, so I don't have to press down at all, not even a teeny tiny bit. What I really just need to do is to guide the pen across the paper to form the lines to make the words. But other than that, the pen really doesn't need any help from me. So because of that, this pen allows me to write for longer and longer periods of time, and my handwriting doesn't change. It remains consistent all throughout. Now I'm just writing here the names of the ink colors that I have on each particular pen. As you can notice, I have color coordinated the ink colors to the color of the pen. Because there are 8 of them, I want to be able to pull out the exact pen that I need without having to guess what's in the pen. So I have their Noodlers Shiva Go, Diamond Emerald. I have Diamond Blaze Orange, Lamy Pacific. The purple pen has J. Urban Poussière de Lune. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's French. And the dark gray one has Diamond Graphite in it. The red one has the Diatramentis Christmas 2012 ink. It's a red ink and it's scented. And the silver Metropolitan is the pen that can have variable ink. Right now it has Waterman Havana Brown, but when I'm already done using up all of the ink that's in that silver pen, I can change it to a different ink, so that way I can use up all of the inks that I have. And I also have a video about all of the inks that I have in my YouTube channel, and I will link it down below. So these are the fountain pens that I carry every single day, because I'm not afraid to bump them around. I'm not afraid to lose them. They're very, very cheap, but they write very, very well. They're very smooth. That's why I like them a lot. And I know that I am going to be using them for years and years and years, despite the fact that I just purchased them like a couple of weeks ago or less than a month ago. Up next, we have my staple ink from 2006 or 2007. It is the Noodlers Shiva Go, and right now I'm just showing you the plastic ink vial that I use to carry around like 5 or 4 millimeters of that particular ink inside my stationery pouch that I carry around in my bag. And this is the bottle that it comes in. I've finished about 2 to 3 bottles ever since. And this bottle right here is almost finished. I'm just trying to finish out the entire bottle before moving on to the next one that I already have in line. I don't know why there is a date December 2012 in there. I must have mixed up the boxes of these inks because this is a fairly new purchase. I think this was 3 or 4 months ago. And when I'm already halfway through a bottle of Shiva Go, I always purchase a new one because I know I always need it. I really like it. It's a bulletproof ink. What it means is that you can throw bleach on it or water on it, or you can throw any kind of chemical on it, and the ink that you write on the paper will not disappear. And I like it because it's a black with a green tint. And right now it's loaded in my Black Croc Pilot Metropolitan. This is from the Animal Prints range, but it's still a Pilot Metropolitan. Surprisingly enough, I found that I thought that the Noodlers Shiva Go would be too saturated for the super duper fine writing of the Pilot Metropolitan fine nib, but turns out it's very lubricated. It's very smooth. It's a very good combination of ink and nib. And there is Noodlers Shiva Go. That's how it looks. It's black, but if you look closer, it has a green tint to it. And I have tried washing the papers that I have written on with this ink, and the green tint washes off, but it's the black that stays. So it's the black that is bulletproof. I believe it's really just Noodler's black. And then they added a green tint to it to make it a little bit more special. And it looks so special for me. I think it looks special, and I really like it. It's very functional, but not in a very boring, regular black way. The next favorite that I'm going to talk about is, of course, the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Pens from Taka that I use specifically for my hyperdex in my planner. Now, I really love these pens. I've only started using them in June of 2017, but I'm really liking how they are working out for me, and more importantly, I really like how they make my hyperdex look. Here is a close-up of how it looks like on the Tomoe River paper sheets that I use for my planner inserts. It looks like a watercolor piece of artwork, and I don't paint and I don't do watercolors. I cannot draw, but I really love how watercolor looks on paper, that mottled, uneven finish. Some parts are darker than others, and some parts are lighter than others, and it really depends on the color. Like, for instance, in this particular one, the violet one doesn't show much variation, but the light green and the light violet show a lot of variation in the color. And I really think that using the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Pens adds a little bit of artsiness to my planner pages because I don't decorate, and the most that I really do by way of decoration is to use icons on all of my boxes for tracking and for planning. So I really like that having these Zig Clean Color Real Brush Pens allows me to play around with color and have that watercolor effect, even though I'm not a watercolor artist. And I really just have this tipped in legend of my color key for the hyperdex, and I'm really happy that I switched to the Zig brush pens and away from the Staedtler Triplus fine liners. The very last item in this list would be these circular rings, but these are actually book rings that I purchased from National Bookstore for a very minimal price. They come in packs of 4, like each pack has 4 rings, and this has different sizes, but my favorite is the one that has a diameter of 2 inches. And I use these book rings to archive my planner pages together with my journal pages and together with all of the pages that carry my memorabilia or ephemera. These are my archives. This is how they look before I label them. So as you can see, the book rings really keep them all together. And I have a lot of these archives. I have a video about all of my archives in my YouTube channel, and I will link it down below. So these book rings really give me a lot of functionality. The plan is to really label those archives in this manner. I have, for every month, I have the planner pages, the journal pages, and the memorabilia or the ephemera, or ephemera really means pieces of paper that we would normally throw away. That's why they're ephemera, but we hold on to. And I'm just showing you a page from October 2013. And it's easy for me to find the pages for a particular day when I archive them and label them this way. So this is what the book rings allow me to do. That's why the book rings are my super duper favorite. And those are all of my perpetual favorites for the stationery category. I'm not sure if you've actually found this video to be a little bit boring because my favorites are not really that expensive. They're not designer, they're not exciting at all, and they are not decorative. Nothing is sparkly or girly, and the prettiest that I have in this video is actually the Pelican M400 white tortoise, but that's it. And this is really a reflection of my life and the decisions that I make in my life, which includes what I decide to purchase. I don't really like purchasing much because I don't have much, but what I do purchase are the things that I don't have to obsess about changing, things that I know I can use for many years, or things that I know are probably going to be in stock for the foreseeable future, and things that are easy to purchase or repurchase, so that I don't have to go on a mission just to restock a bunch of them. This is it. These are my perpetual favorites for stationery, and I hope I was able to give you a bunch of ideas if you are looking for something that you can use for your own stationery stash. Let me know what are your functional perpetual favorites for stationery. I would really like to know. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye!